This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Red Raider football with Joey McGuire last night. Learned some things, took copious notes, Jamie.
Awesome.
As I normally do. He revealed yesterday Caleb Douglas's nickname. Would you like to know what it is? You know, we learned that Dre McCray is Papa, right? Caleb Douglas is
CD.
CD, right? Yeah, CD.
Yeah, I think we'd heard that one before.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was one of the players that called him.
Yeah,
I think it was Barron. I think it was Barron that called him CD.
Coach McGuire called him CD. CD. Caleb Douglas, CD. He said there was a lot of things that they could learn from the game last Saturday. A lot that they did good, and a lot that they did not do good. One thing that was kind of interesting to me yesterday or last night was he said he thought that the officials did a good job he said the officials stayed out of it for three and a half quarters, and then they decided to get involved, and he cited 2 holding penalties, and both of those holding penalties ended up, obviously hurting. Anytime you give a holding penalty, it hurts. And the saying goes, well, you can call holding on every play, but there was a holding call on Texas Tech, 2nd and 5 in the fourth quarter, with a drive that started at their own 25 after a Abilene Christian touchdown that made it 39-35 Tech. So you get called for a holding. Buchanan got called for a holding, and then the next play was on 2nd and 15 was an incomplete pass to Coy Aiken. And then on 3rd and 15, it was an incomplete pass to Josh Kelly that was broken up by Abilene Christian, and that resulted then in a field goal attempt that was good, but it made it 42-35. But man, if you don't have that holding call, and again, I didn't go back and look to go, oh man, that was an egregious call. It's just this is what he said, and usually he doesn't usually make a comment like this. Stayed out of it for 3.5 quarters and then decided to get involved. And then he cited that penalty, and then he cited the one on Mason Tharp. And that drive also ended up in a 31-yard field goal by Gino Garcia. And Tharp was called for a holding call on from there at the Abilene Christian 34-yard line, and moved the ball back to the 40, and then that's the play where you end up getting stymied at the 13-yard line. So that one wasn't maybe as egregious in terms of hurting you because you did pick up a first down after that, and your drive stalled at the Abilene Christian 13-yard line. You'd had a false start in there, so that's one of those pre-snap penalties that was just killer on set. They got to get better at that.
Yeah, no question. I don't remember the first penalty you talked about. I do remember the one
on
from Tharp, and again, you overcame it, so it really wasn't a factor.
Well, you overcame it because you got a field goal, but I guess
you overcame it because you got a first down.
You got a first down, sure. Yeah,
on the drive,
right,
and
right.
You had a new set of downs. So.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know the full context of everything, but I probably, the issues were more the defense than
yes.
Holding penalties.
No question. Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that he made that comment. That
it kind of you wonder if it kind of speaks to him feeling a little bit of heat. Like if it's not in his makeup to normally complain about the refs, but all of a sudden he is.
Yeah,
that may mean he's feeling a little bit of pressure.
Maybe
he's feeling the heat from the fan base.
Maybe so. I mean, I just thought it was like it was just an odd comment.
And agree. I don't remember him being that guy before, and I don't think it's I'm not completely opposed to coaches that mention a play here or there that they disagreed with the refs. I'm fine with that. I don't want to hear a guy do it every single time, and I would not say Coach McGuire is that guy at all.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me that he kind of, left where he normally is personality-wise, you'll wonder if he just is feeling it a little bit.
Maybe so. He from a defensive standpoint, I mean, again, the lack of communication came up. I mean, and he did say it made a big difference not having Braylon Lux in the lineup, and they worked him out, Saturday afternoon up until 1-2 o'clock or so during their during their walkthrough over at the Sports Performance Center. He said he feels good about him this week and that he's had a good week. So that's important to have Braylon Lux in there in your secondary.
Yeah, I feel like Coach McGuire got criticized so much last year for feeling like, right here on this show, he told us he felt like the offensive line would be a strength. Mm-hmm. And that was not the case, and he got criticized basically for saying that and kind of getting everybody's hopes up. And I'm fearful that the same thing has happened this year when they spent so much time talking about depth on defense. Yeah. And now 1 week into the season, you're talking about, we can't get a pass rush because we got 2 guys hurt on the defensive line, and everything changed with our defensive backfield because Braylon Lux wasn't in there.
Yeah,
and so you kind of contradict yourself a little bit there.
Yeah, with regard to the depth.
Yeah.
He did say, he said, with regard to the lack of communication, he said 3 to 4 would be on one page and everyone else would be on another. We had bad eye discipline, eyes in the wrong spot.
Yeah, all it takes is one guy to ruin it. And so, I think I probably lean a little bit towards what we heard. I can't even remember if it was Coach McGuire or Coach DeRuiter, but just saying that when the lights came on, these guys.
Yeah, it was more DeRuiter that said that than Coach McGuire.
These guys just kind of paused and hesitated for a minute, and it was a bigger deal than maybe they were expecting, and hopefully they learn from it, and we see dramatic improvement quickly. Yes. Like by tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow at 7 Pacific time would be great, right? 6:40, we'll have more on Texas Tech and Washington State, obviously, all throughout the morning. So get you ready for the game tomorrow. It's a 9 o'clock kick. So plan accordingly tomorrow night so you can keep your eyelids open.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is Friday, September the 6th. You know what that means? It means a week from today is Friday the 13th, but we'll worry about that next week. Today we'll just worry about September the 6th. Here's Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1905. Because the Chicago White Sox did something good.
They won a ball game?
Frank Smith no-hit the Detroit Tigers 15-0. Woohoo! Could use one of those tonight, though, for the White Sox. We all would be in favor of that. Davis Martin pitching.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go, Davis.
Yeah, absolutely.
No pressure, but, it could happen.
Feel free to, because that's what you'd almost have to do.
Davis would pitch a 9-inning no-hitter, and
I'd still lose.
They would be scoreless, and they'd go to the 10th, and their bullpen would blow it for them.
You'd be furious.
1946, All-American Football Conference begins regular season play as the Cleveland Browns beat the Miami Seahawks 44-0 before 60,135 people at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium.
Miami Seahawks. Never heard of such a team.
1953, Roy Campanella sets a record for home runs by a catcher in a single season at 38. 1977, Angels acquire Dave Kingman from the Padres for cash. Why is this important? 9 days later, the Yankees buy Kingsman, who started with the Mets that season. Kingsman actually played in all 4 divisions in 1977.
Dave Kingman?
Kingman. Did I say Kingsman? No, it's
Dave
Kingman.
Yeah, he could.
Played in all 4 divisions in 1 year.
I'm sure.
Probably hit the ball a mile in all 4 divisions.
Yeah, right, no doubt. I didn't realize he played for the Yankees in 77. But if he got traded this late to the Yankees, he wasn't eligible for postseason play then.
I don't know how those rules work then.
Yeah, it was usually a September 1 kind of thing or something along those lines.
1986, David McWilliams gets his first win as a head coach with the Red Raiders, topping the Kansas State Wildcats 41-7. 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. breaks Lou Gehrig's record, plays in 2,131 straight games. Takes a victory lap around the field that probably would have been cause for today's game to lose their mind. 1996, Baltimore Orioles Eddie Murray hits his 500th career home run. And in 2020, world number 1 tennis player Novak Djokovic is sensationally disqualified in the 4th round of the U.S. Open after hitting a ball in frustration, striking a line judge.
Crazy. Just crazy.
Happy National Coffee Ice Cream Day.
The
coffee ice cream day.
Yeah, I was a fan of that at the flavor store. I like the coffee milkshake. Yeah. You like the coffee ice cream?
Jamie doesn't like coffee.
I know he doesn't. I was just checking to see if he liked the coffee ice cream.
I don't like coffee flavor, smell, or any of that. Yeah. Anything coffee flavored, whatever, I'm out.
You're out. Okay.
Yeah.
Make a note of that.
Seems like that's been pretty clear.
Well, no, I know you don't like the coffee. Didn't know if maybe having ice cream, like if we put some pistachios in it or something like that, would that help?
If it's got coffee in it, I'm out.
Okay, completely out. All right.
Happy birthday to John Wall, who's 34. Rosie Perez is 60. Jeff Foxworthy, 66. Derek Lee, 49. And Mitch Moreland is 39.
He's a great Ranger from the past.
Yeah. And on this day in 1901, President William McKinley is shaking hands at the Pan American Exhibition in Buffalo, New York, when a 28-year-old... hang on. I know this word.
Hypocrisy?
No. It's not architect. It's anarchist. There we go.
Okay,
named
good
Leon.
Job.
Huh?
Good job.
It's one of those words that I know what it is when I'm seeing it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's that, and then I get to try to say it and I can't. Leon Kratz, no way I got that right, approaches him and fires 2 shots into his chest. The president rose slightly to his toes before collapsing forward, saying, "Be careful how you tell my wife." On the 14th, McKinley died from gangrene that had gone undetected in his internal wounds. Vice President Theodore Roosevelt was immediately sworn in as president. And on the 16th, after receiving a funeral befitting the President of the United States in Washington, McKinley's coffin was transported by train to his hometown of Canton, Ohio, for his burial. And that is this day in sports history.
Yeah, it was just a few days ago that the Teddy Roosevelt swing softly but carry a big stick speech was made.
Was that last Friday?
Yeah, I think it was just a few days ago. Yeah. Speaking of Kingman, I was right. If you joined another team in those days, after August 31st, you were ineligible for postseason play. Mm-hmm. The Yankees would go on to win their first World Championship in quite some time. I want to say since early 60s, maybe even 62. That year, they beat the Dodgers in the World Series. And to me, Aaron Judge, I know he's bigger than Dave Kingman, but Dave Kingman in his day was considered to be a very large man for a baseball. He was 6'6", and he was kind of an Aaron Judge of that era. Judge is a much better hitter than Kingman. Kingman was one of those guys who strike him out or hit him out kind of guys. He probably would have fit in nicely with today's ball player.
Probably so.
Because he could hit the ball a long, long ways. Marquis says this. He's just baiting you, Jamie. Nothing like freshly brewed coffee in the morning. I'm kind of with him on that. But
of course, my response to that was, and the terrible smelling breath that comes with it the rest of the day. So, yeah. Hope your brush your teeth after you drink that coffee.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't get too close to anybody today.
We get a score prediction here. Red Raiders 1 game at a time this weekend, 24-21, Texas Tech. You'd take that right now, wouldn't you? Because it's a win.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you
take that immediately right now.
Yeah, the difference in Judge and Kingman only weighed 210. Judge has probably got 60 pounds or so on him.
Probably so, but I mean, if you had asked me his weight, I probably would have said it was more than that, just because I just remember him as being a very imposing figure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And as a guy that could, hit the ball a long, long ways. I mean, he led the National League in home runs in 79 and 82, but he was a guy that could...
Judge is 6'7", 282. Man. 72 pounds of more.
Goodness gracious. And, I mean, when he carries that bat to the plate, it just looks like a toothpick.
He's a big guy.
He's a big fellow. 6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Score predictions as well. We look for those as well. Hey, congratulations to Lubbock High School. They get their first win of the season last night, Jamie.
Got off to a great start.
Yeah. Just
kind of held on there at the end.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, they get a nice win. That'll kind of make them feel good on a Friday going to school. 31-20 last night over Big Spring. So showed some offense last night.
They did. We're up 28-0.
Yeah, that's awesome. So congratulations to Lubbock High and their team. And we'll have plenty of high school football tonight across our stations, including Friendship and Memorial on Double T 97.3 and Cooper and Coronado on both 96.9 The Bull and on 100.7 The Score. So that should be fun tonight. I bet both teams score over 35 tomorrow night. Wow. That'd be a bunch. We'll see.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too. All right, high school football tonight. We've got Friendship, Lubbock Cooper, Coronado, Liberty, Idalou, Coronado, Cooper, Monterey, blah, blah, blah. It all begins at 6:30. Your stations are Double T 97.3, 100.7 The Score, 93.1 Yes FM, Sunny 97.7, 96.9, and 93.7 The Eagle. Pick one, and there'll be a ball game there.
What was the blah, blah, blah part?
I was just because I was, because we have multiple stations.
The station that wasn't important was the blah, blah.
No. That's not it. Okay. That's not it. It was just more along the lines of, well, we got this station, this one, and this one, and then this one, and this one, and then this one, and this one, and then this one, and this one. It was more the doubling up, Cooper, okay. Coronado, Idalou, Liberty, Idalou,
okay.
Blah, blah,
want
blah.
You to.
Yeah.
That was probably if we'd have had a new home broadcast, that probably would have been the blah blah blah.
No. Remember, I picked them to win last week. I was the only one that picked them to win last week. Let's keep that in mind. I mean, even though I picked the blowout and it didn't happen, I'm the one that picked them to win. All right, answer my question. Moving forward, are you more concerned about our ability to put pressure on the quarterback or the secondary to develop and get everybody on the same page and have eye discipline and not be overcome by the big moment and the bright lights and the short skirts and the band playing?
Wow.
I added the short skirts in there because sometimes
and the band.
Yeah.
I'm distracted by a short skirt. I'll be honest. That happens.
Sometimes the short skirts are more distracting than the bright lights of the band.
What am I more concerned with? And we know that both make the other better.
Yeah. I guess my question is, which one do you think has the ability to get better as the season goes longer?
Okay. I've been, I told you guys on Tuesday that I kind of feel like we are who we are when it comes to pass rush or lack thereof. And so I wasn't holding out really any large hope that we were suddenly going to become a team that...
Sign a free agent.
And who knows in today's college sports, but I didn't think that we were going to become a team that all of a sudden was going to put a ton of pressure on the quarterback. Because you were playing some younger guys that maybe with a little more experience have a chance to get better. I expected that you would get better in the secondary. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how to answer your question of which one am I more worried about. I feel like one has a potential to get better. I just, and that's not to say that you're never going to get after a quarterback. I just don't think you're going to be a team that's going to be heavy with the pass rush.
Well, the problem is, losing Dylan Spencer and losing Joseph Adedire. Spencer, you lost him first day of camp. Adedire probably in the last week, if you kind of look at the timeline because of how things went. And then Charles Esters is still out and going to be out this week, and I don't know about next week, maybe next week too. So you just, unless you're going to play a weak offensive line, which doesn't look like you're going to play a weak offensive line this week, it's going to be hard to put pressure on the quarterback.
Well, the other guys are allowed to do it too, besides just that position.
Yes,
we've heard a lot about Isaac Smith, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are other guys, Amir Washington, that we saw really perform well in the bowl game. It doesn't have to just come from that one position. No, defensive tackles can get after a QB. Your linebackers can blitz at times and show them a different look. Whatever you can do other things.
Get creative.
It doesn't have to just be that outside linebacker rush in spot.
Yeah.
Oh, those are usually the guys that are getting the most pressure. I wonder a little bit, Chuck. And I had a major concern about losing the two dudes that you lost in the middle of that defensive line because they were so good stopping the run. They were solid getting after the quarterback, and they were phenomenal leaders. Mm-hmm. They had played 1.5 million snaps for you and were really, really just stand-up guys and great leaders. And, man, don't you believe that you would have loved to have had that kind of presence?
Sure. One or two of those.
On the defense on Saturday.
Yeah.
Those guys are tough to replace.
I didn't – and you have been consistent with that statement, that philosophy, that commentary, and you were right. I didn't dismiss you, but I was kind of like, oh, come on, Jamie. Come on. But, you're...
I believe in college athletics and high school athletics, that leaders on the court matter big time.
Yeah.
Maybe more so than the professional ranks where everybody's, for lack of a better term, professional, and they know what they're doing. Yeah. Okay? I believe leaders at the high school level and the college level are so incredibly important.
Well, and leaders that are good, too. Not necessarily good leaders, but good with their playing ability as well.
Yeah, more times than not, they're the guys that play well. It's hard to be a leader if you're sitting at the end of the bench, but I think there can be some of that going on. But those guys were just everything that you would want. They're great Red Raiders and great representatives and really good players, but I just thought they were great leaders, stand-up guys, all the above, and their performance on the field just difficult to replace.
Somebody says this...
And so much experience. They both had played for forever, it felt like.
It felt like they deserved another year just because they played so much. Did they get a bonus COVID year?
Did they only get 5? Why did they not get the Ellen Bowman, Tyler Shuck 7?
I don't know. It makes you wonder.
Should have faked an injury at some point.
I don't know that somebody says, Chuck, stop with the excuses. We're supposed to be 3 deep in every position. Oh, we've talked about that. We've talked about how we heard all summer, we're going to be deep. We're going to be deep. We're going to be deep. Well, we're not as deep maybe as we thought, or we've lost some depth. Somebody says this, Cofield, number 51, will be a star. Coach McGuire brought up Jaden Cofield last night on his radio show.
I would say he had the biggest defensive play of the game.
No doubt, yeah. And what he talked about was that he had a late hit on the quarterback because he hit him below the knee. That was a big penalty against him. But he said he kept his head up and kept playing, and made a huge play when they needed him to. So didn't get his dauber down, so to speak.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought the roughing the quarterback was the right call.
Yes, I did too. Yeah. No, nobody was complaining about that one. Somebody points this out, and we've talked about this already this week. Abilene Christian was getting the ball out of the hand of the quarterback, the second fastest anyone in college football. He had like 2.47 seconds. The team ahead of him is the Washington State kid, who's like 2.25 seconds. Okay, got it. Get your stopwatch.
Which makes it difficult for you to get a good pass rush.
Right,
There's
absolutely.
no question.
Right.
But it sure does draw up a blueprint of how do you beat the Red Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing, too.
So if that's the case, you have to be your corners and whatever. You got to play some press coverage, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be physical at the line of scrimmage and not allow them to get it out that quick. Part of him probably getting it out that quick is that receivers were that open, that easy. It was easy to find them.
And they were
all over the field.
No doubt. I mean, and multiple. And there were times that I felt like that, man, if Maverick McIver was a little bit more accurate, particularly in the first quarter, because there were guys that were wide open and he was overthrown. It was like, ooh.
Yeah. Sure. He missed a couple, as did Barron.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks usually aren't perfect.
No.
Unlike radio guys.
I was going to say, unlike us. Somebody says this, Jamie, if the Red Raiders win 3 in a row, will you sit with Chuck and drink up a cup of coffee? No, I think it's going to – I think we'd have to finish we'd have to win 11 in a row.
Why do I have to be punished for the Tech winning games? How does that make sense? I sit with Chuck every morning for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is that not enough? He's got a cup of coffee over there.
Yeah.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, you only get one answer.
Okay, that's good because we've had multiple guests and it's been taxing this week. The question. So
sorry.
Well, no, you've made us think, which is good. I mean, that's good.
Make them easier.
It's good to make us think.
What color?
I thought your
like
questions were fine.
See that tech wear? I know. Okay. My question today is fill in the blank.
Okay.
The Red Raiders will win tomorrow if.
If you play as well as you played Saturday offensively, I think you win the ball game. I think you can. I don't know that you can play as bad as you played defensively and win the game, but I think if you're Coach McGuire says this a lot lately, if your offensive skill is what you think it is it turns out to be, then I think that you can win the ball game.
Okay, so you scored 45 in regulation against an FCS team at home. Mm-hmm. What does that number equate to if you play equally as well on the road against a not FCS team, but also not Power 4?
Yeah. I think you.
What's the number? What does that equate to?
I think you can. I actually think you can play better offensively because you stalled a couple of times with field goals. I think you're in that high 30. So say 5-10. I think you're in between 35 and 40 points.
And you think that's enough?
I think that's going to be enough because I think you're going to get some. I think you're going to get some turnovers.
I think it could be. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a terrible answer, but I have a reason for it. You're going to have to outscore them. And it's not the typical, hey, score more points.
Yeah, I know.
This is going to be a 52-51 game with both teams running up and down the field in true Mike Leach fashion.
See, I think the defense is going to play substantially better.
Hard to play worse. And until they play better, I'm going to say that this is going to be a first 1 to 60 wins kind of game.
Remember, substantially better, I mean, against a much, much more talented offense could still mean you're giving up 40 points.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, you're on the road against a really good offense that put up, 70 last week?
70. They put up 70.
Yeah,
exactly
They
70.
did give up 30 to a FCS team.
Yeah.
So.
But they scored 70, and they looked a lot better with their 70 than we did with our 52. Probably.
I feel like about like I'm just like 18 points better. Did you feel like it was something 18 points better?
I don't think they felt like their game was in jeopardy, where they're like holding their dadgum breath, with trying not to be somebody's Christmas card, I thought about that when I was taking that picture going, man, we could have been Abilene Christian's Christmas card so easily. Brand new damn scoreboard, and we're already somebody else's Christmas card. Were you thinking that at all during the ball game?
Do not curse our scoreboard, okay?
I know, but I mean,
do not call it that, all right?
Well,
have some respect.
Okay. I thought we were going to get disrespected by being somebody else's Christmas card with our fancy new scoreboard. Is that better?
That's better. Yeah. Okay. I think the key to this game, to me, is being able to keep their offense off the field. Because I do think they're going to be able to score against your defense. I do expect a little bit of improvement on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know that I expect significant, okay, because of the talent level that you're going up against here. Mm-hmm. So, to me, you gotta limit their possessions, and they are not good stopping the run. And that's part of the reason that Portland State, or whatever they played,
Portland State,
scored 30 against them. Mm-hmm. Much of it was on the ground. And so to me, Texas Tech is, if they are going to win this game, you are going to have a big, big day running the football. Keeping them off the field, controlling the clock, controlling the time of possession. I'm not telling you that don't have a quick strike offense, and if Josh Kelly can break a tackle and take it 60, hey, I don't want you to fall down at midfield and just so we can run out more clock. I'm not suggesting that. But I think this has to be a game where Taj or whoever else is running the football a bunch, and you're just running out that clock as much as you can on every single possession, long, sustained drives. Keep that offense off the field. Let them get stiff and stale over there on the sideline.
Yeah.
Don't let them get into this.
Play keep away a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I think you have to have a big day running the football. A big day to me, like if you were going to say what number running the football would you feel super confident in a win? I'm going to, like 225. Okay, over 200. Definitely over 200. I think they gave up over 300 last week.
Okay, so they gave up 215 rushing.
215. Okay.
But they also had 234 yards passing. Portland State did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you definitely got to get over 200 yards rushing.
Well, here's the other thing that Portland State did a really good job of. I mean, they held on to the football. I mean, they had the ball 40 minutes and 26 seconds, and Wazoo scores 70 points on 19 minutes and 34 seconds of possession. That's impressive. That's impressive in and of itself. So, they obviously they had big strikes. They did have a 100-yard interception pick six return. They went for two on that and didn't get it. They had a 59-yard pass play. They had a 33-yard pass play. They had another 52-yard pass play. They had another 54-yard pass play. They had a 58-yard pass play. So you got to limit, obviously, those explosive plays, no matter who you're playing. But looks like they can churn it up. So you got to make sure your corners are on somebody.
Yes, we didn't make sure of that last week.
No, we didn't. Mm-hmm. But
or your safeties or your backers.
Yeah, right.
Nobody was really on somebody. Questioned whether they were on something instead.
But their leading receiver only caught 4 balls. 2 of them caught 4 balls. They were both over 100 yards in reception. So.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
on Double T 97.3. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank, and Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We come to you from our comfortable perch here in the First United Bank studio. Okay? So,
can I correct myself?
You sure can.
Mason Montgomery, not Mason Molina.
Okay.
I can't believe I said Molina.
It's okay.
That name has been dropped from my vocabulary.
Well, it's just
Mason Montgomery, not Mason Molina.
A little muscle memory maybe there.
Mason Molina is still in the minor league somewhere. I can't remember who he got drafted by, but he's not a Red Raider as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Mason Montgomery is a Red Raider.
Okay.
And he made his MLB debut for the Rays.
And every day he's a Red Raider.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Hey, I don't know if I'm giving you credit for coming up with this, okay? And I've heard others say this recently, including Joey McGuire, and I'm thinking, well, man, he must be listening to Jamie. I mean, and you're going to say, oh, it was before me, but you're the one that's kind of coined this, okay? Because after every Texas Tech baseball victory, you say it's a great day to be a Red Raider.
I just assume that I'm not the first one that said that.
I feel like that you've been the leader of the band, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't know if you're right or not. I do not know.
I've just heard more and more people saying it's a great day to be a Red Raider, and I always think of you.
It usually is. So.
Yeah, right. No, but I always think of you when that somebody says that. I'm like, well, there's Jamie's line. You know, I'm being sincere about that too.
Well, and that's fine. I appreciate that. I just, like I said, I just assume over the course of history of Red Raider fans, I'm not the first one to say that.
Maybe not, but I mean, you've made it part of your vocabulary, your vernacular, your sayings. You know.
Sure.
Because.
If you're okay if I just keep saying it, even though maybe somebody else said it first.
I think you said it first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
really giving
know.
you credit. Not that you need or want or solicit my.
I'm not looking for a patent on it. I'm not gonna
stamp of approval.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Nobody has to pay me if they say
no licensing fee or anything like that.
None of that.
I do give you credit though, Jamie. Every time.
Yeah. Every time you say.
I'm also not the first person to say every time. So.
Yeah. We get this from Sooner in Lubbock. That Estacado Hereford game should be a good one. Two solid football teams. Mm-hmm. Will you go to a high school game tonight? Are you going to one?
I got to work.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
The compound?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, slugging it out down here with the troops tonight.
We got some things to get worked out.
Okay, we got some. Well, I mean, hey, you're the coordinator.
Jeff and I are here to make sure they get it worked out.
You're the head coach. He's the coordinator. I mean, you got to make sure everybody's eyes are in the right spot and don't mess up their feet or anything like that.
Yeah, Jeff and I bring in the tasers.
Okay.
We see how the new guys react.
Sure. Yeah. All those.
We're a big fan of the stick and carrot method too. While we have the tasers as a stick, we also have the pizza as a carrot. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. Yeah, all those things.
We got a lot of things going on.
That's good. I'll stay away then. Would that be advisable? For me to stay away?
Well, we just bought cheese pizza, so yeah, you should probably stay.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Sure.
If we can generate a few turnovers like we did a couple of seasons ago, our defense could afford to give up yards in between the 20s. Yeah. There's some truth to that. I mean, and you got a big turnover last week, that resulted in a touchdown. You were able to knock the ball loose, pick up a fumble. Mm-hmm. Fall on it, all those kinds of things.
Early on, yep.
What's your thought on Taj Brooks? Is he going to play tomorrow, do you think?
Yes.
Okay. They're taking 4 running backs with them. They're taking all 4 of their backs with them. So just kind of keep that in mind. And Coach McGuire has said a couple of different times it is a true game time decision. But feels good about the Cam Dickey and Cameron Valdez about filling in for him.
As do I,
You know, but
especially
I mean-
with a defense that showed last week
Yeah.
that they struggle stopping the run.
Yeah, but I mean,
Even with Taj Brooks, I think you could have a big day on the ground.
I was going to say it would be ideal though to have him.
You would definitely prefer it, yes.
Yes, you would definitely. And I think I said this the other day, but and maybe this is Captain Obvious stuff or not, but I thought he was really good with his pass blocking on a couple of plays. I mean, he stood in there and gave Baron Morton some protection. And I'm sure that this is a trait that it's not just like he just started doing this, but it was good because Morton was able to stay in the pocket and had that confidence that he could stay in the pocket, knowing that Taj Brooks was going to pick up somebody and give him that extra split second to throw the ball downfield. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and you need, as a quarterback, you need to be able to rely on somebody protecting your blind side or knowing that, okay, I see that linebacker coming, but I'm not going to win, so I'm not going to step out of the way because I know my back's going to step up. And, he's not all of a sudden turn and start running in the opposite direction or anything. He knows his back is going to step into the hole, pick that guy up, and he can deliver the pass, a.k.a. Shannon Woods with Graham Harrell on the TD pass to Robert Johnson in College Station.
Yeah.
Woods' blitz pickup from the guy coming from the outside there was phenomenal. That play never happens. Harrell never gets the ball off. You don't win that football game unless Shannon Woods picks up that blitz and allows Harrell to throw that beautiful pass to Robert Johnson that makes us all happy to think about.
Yeah. They are going to wear a sticker on the back of their helmet. They're going to wear the swing your sword sticker. I always have a hard time with that sword, that word, sword. Swing your sword, whatever.
Just forget there's a W.
Okay, sword. And
just like sort, but with a D.
Like s'mores, like that. S'mores. They are wearing white. I don't have the record with white after Labor Day. I'm going to assume that most of these were after Labor Day. They have worn the white, Jamie. I know you want to know this. 19 times you're 12-7 with the white. Okay. Not quite as good as the red.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.